Find out from Tamara. Tamara, thank you for making the time to join us. Just to pick up on that question, where we've seen our South African businesses really tapping into other African markets, would you say that we're also leading in terms of competition policy?
Certainly South Africa as a competition regulatory system has been very much a leader on the continent, although its competition law only came into effect in 1999, but a lot has happened. We've learned a lot of lessons since then, and the practice has evolved quite a lot. The Competition Commission has also had a huge amount of successes in cartel busting, and it's made a huge impact, which is often picked up on the press. And yes, a lot of other regulators on the continent are now really coming to the fore. They're very active, not only in relation to merger control, but also in respect of prohibited practices. So it's become really important for all businesses operating in Africa to pay attention closely to what the regulators there are doing and to the requirements of the legal systems there.
Tamara, it certainly sounds like the competition landscape and competition policy in South Africa is getting visibility, but how do we increase effectiveness? What would you say needs to be done to ensure that the Commission has more teeth and has greater enforcement power?
Well, there are a couple of things. The most powerful enforcement tool of the Commission has been its corporate leniency policy. And so that means that firms come forward and whistleblow. They bring forward their own contraventions in exchange for immunity. And that's recognized as the most effective way. It's been hugely effective in South Africa and will probably become enormously effective in other African jurisdictions in that context. Importantly for our authority is there's a great need, as with any regulator, to have well-qualified staff, good leadership, continuity, as opposed to high staff turnover, and there's a whole lot that goes with ensuring that a competition regulator is constantly up to speed and has the resources to investigate what can be very complex cases.
We've recently seen with MTN in Nigeria a spillover of politics into the regulatory space. Is this an inherent danger that is always facing the competition space? Because when a certain player says we're escalating this to the president, it seems that it's not a regulatory issue so much, more of a diplomatic and a political issue at that point.
Right. There's a serious concern about independence on the part of a competition regulator, and that also flows into how foreign investors perceive the country. So South Africa has managed to have a very independent competition commission and competition tribunal, which has been part of its success. In other jurisdictions, I think it's also recognized that this independence has been important, and steps must be taken to ensure that transparency and independence on the part of the regulator is maintained.
That's a really interesting insight, because we also know that state-owned enterprises are also other players in the market. What have been the major trends around how competition policy has engaged with, state-owned entities that are also looking for business as do normal corporates in the same space?
State-owned enterprises are subject to exactly the same rules under the Competition Act as any other entity. And just going back to your point about the independence of the authority, certainly the first enterprise in South Africa to be hit with a big penalty was South African Airways. So, they are really subject to the same requirements. And as with all players, they've had to bring themselves up to speed with the culture of competition law. And it's still relatively new here, but I think by now business is quite au fait with what they need to do.
Tamara, thank you so much for your time. That's Tamara Dini. She's a partner at Bowman Gilfin Africa Group, and certainly hammering home some very important points around ensuring that the regulatory environment exudes certainty